Bipolar disorder is a mental illness that affects many Kenyans today, and they have no idea of what they're suffering from. Here is a story of a patient who is dealing with the disease.
My name is Njeri Masharia, and I'm battling bipolar disorder. I was diagnosed 3 years ago, but after a long time of suffering and not knowing what was happening. I had so many episodes of attempted suicide and so many depressive episodes that I couldn't explain. I couldn't tell what was happening, why I was depressed, and I couldn't tell why sometimes I would get so excited for no reasons. My emotions were exaggerated, both extremes, high and low. After I was diagnosed, I still went through a period of denial, and it took a while before I accepted myself. I started writing to create mental illness awareness, but I was only doing it on my timeline on Facebook. I have found it therapeutic. As I share my story, I reach out to these people and encourage them, just letting them know that they're not alone and they shouldn't suffer in silence, that mental illness is no less than physical illness. The brain is just an organ like any other organ in the human body. People should seek for help and should not suffer in silence. They should know that they can get help out there if only they are willing to talk about their condition. Bipolar is a mood disorder. It's characterized by extreme highs and extreme lows. They alternate. 1 minute you're extremely high, like you're hyper, your moods are elevated, you're excited about something, and the next minute you're depressed and you're feeling low, you're feeling like it's the end of the world, and sometimes it's for no reason. You see, sometimes when someone is depressed, they can attribute that to something like a loss, like maybe just a bad day. But for us, it's just like a switch in the brain. Like you can't explain why you're depressed, but yet you're depressed. You can't explain why you're feeling worthless, why you're feeling useless, why you feel like it's the end of the world. You can't explain, but you know you feel it that way. So it's even hard to explain to someone why you're feeling that way. And that's not enough. When you're excited, you're really excited, and you can even engage in dangerous activities like, for example, elevated moods are characterized by dangerous activities that really pump your adrenaline. Such things can also harm you. So it's not just the lows that can harm you, but even the highs. At first, I didn't know that I was suffering from any disease, and it beat me why I was behaving like this. Like I said, like for some people, the mood swings, like from high to low, are attributed to something. For me, I had the swings, but they were not attributed to anything. Like one day I'll just be in the house and I'm feeling depressed to a point that I was feeling like ending my life. I want to commit suicide. I want this to end. I can't explain why I'm behaving the way I'm behaving. The other thing is that mental illness tends to change your personality. It gets to a point where you don't know where your personality ends and the illness begins. But somehow there's something in you that tells you that this is not the person I know. You see, the illness makes you become a stranger to yourself and even to the society. People don't recognize who you are. You're inconsistent in your behavior. Mostly mental illness is behavioral science, yeah. But I think from when you seek a professional help, they'll get to tell you what you're suffering from. So for me, I didn't know. I didn't know I was sick, but I could tell that I was not okay. And at the point of diagnosis, I cried for help. And like many people, I also said that, please take me to Mathare. I think I've lost it. That was what I thought. I said, I think I've lost it and I need help. And please take me to Mathare. Because I also thought that that's the only hospital that deals with psychiatric issues. And I knew my problem was not physical, but I couldn't tell what it was, but I knew I was not okay. So when I went to the hospital, obviously, like if it's psychiatric issues, there's no like blood tests or scans or anything to tell what you're suffering from. It's just behavioral science and observation. So after interrogation, I was diagnosed with bipolar, and they explained what it does, and it started making sense. Now I had answers to some of the questions that I had, like why for no reason? Why am I depressed for no reason? Why am I this excited? This thing is not even worth this excitement, yeah? Why do I get to this point where I feel like I'm giving up, like I need to give up? So many questions were answered. But now the problem is when I was diagnosed and when I cried for help, I thought it's just like any other disease. I'll just go in, get treatment, and come out okay. But I was told, no, there's no cure, just management. Like you take your meds, have a routine, and all will be well. I didn't get like a very good reaction. Like solid support. But somehow, after a while of like exploring mental illness, I think I understand. Like my family, our parents are old school. They don't know things about mental illness. So for them, it was hard to fathom, like, okay, what's this she's dealing with? Yeah. Some of them like even thought like it's demonic, I'm possessed, like I need prayers or something. Some of them just thought like it's just stress, it will pass. It was so hard for them like to grasp the concept of mental illness. It took a while for them to understand me. It took a while for them attending therapy with me. It took a while for them like just observing me and even me putting in effort to train them. As for my friends, some of them, they just took off. Like we drifted apart because maybe some didn't want to be associated with a crazy person. Some didn't understand even how to deal with me, how to help me when I'm in need. I think like somehow the disease is associated with isolation, and so is any other mental illness or any other disease. It's associated with isolation, where you feel like you're different from the rest. You feel like you're bothering them, and your loved ones, they don't know how to deal with you. They don't know how to help you when you need them. They don't know like what the right words to say to you, when to say them. They actually have no clue. And I think the whole problem is just born out of ignorance. Our society has not taken that time to like teach people on mental illness, how they can get help, how they can help those who are suffering from mental illness. So basically, it wasn't such like as in supportive, if I would use that word. But yeah, at least for some people, they tried to learn. My friends even Googled on the illness to try and see what it's all about and how they can help. My family too, though they cannot like be able to like read online, at least they went to therapy and they tried to understand. So it's better now. It's better actually now. After I was diagnosed, I was put on medication. Mostly for bipolar, you get mood stabilizers. They're called mood stabilizers because you see bipolar is extreme highs and lows. The medication helps you with the stabilizing the moods. So I was put on mood stabilizers, but since I hadn't accepted myself and I didn't want to go back to life, to reality, with the same problem that I went in to psychiatrist, I was in denial. I didn't want to accept that this cannot be cured. I didn't like the person that I had become, and I wasn't accepting that I'm going to live with this person like for the rest of my life. The best the medicine can do is just manage it. No, I didn't accept that. So I wouldn't like give like a right feedback on how the medication worked because I wasn't religious. I have a history of non-compliance with medication. So I cannot outright like say how it worked after I left the hospital. Because what happened is I went through a period of denial, and what I will do was what I was not required to do. Like I went on a rampage and started doing drugs, and you're not allowed to do drugs when you're taking the medication. You're not allowed to take coffee when you're taking the medication because you see coffee elevates your moods. It pumps your adrenaline. You're not allowed to be extremely happy. You're not allowed to be extremely low. So I didn't stop any of that. I didn't stop the coffee. And in fact, I wasn't doing drugs, but now I started because at least, you see, the drugs, they numb your pain. They make you feel like happy, maybe, if I would say. They make you get lost in a fantasy. You're not living your reality. You're not living this thing you're trying to escape. But now the problem with using drugs is that you can get addicted. And mostly there's this thing we call dual diagnosis, whereby somebody who is mentally ill seeks solution in drugs, and eventually they end up getting addicted, even if they were not addicted. That's where I was headed, because that's where I was running to. I didn't want to test the medication. I was mad. Why can't you cure it? I came here for help. Please cure it. So at that point, I can't say what it did. But later on, when I accepted myself and I realized this is not me, I went back to the psychiatrist and started getting the medication, and I realized it worked, but not medication on its own. It's not medication. It's your lifestyle. It's your entire lifestyle that is changed. For example, as much as you're taking medication, you have to have a routine, because not having a routine for me is a trigger. Like, I don't like pressure. I don't like at any point of the day you can just tell me to do this and expect me to be productive. No, I want a plan. I want to know at this point I'm supposed to do this. At this point I'm supposed to do this. That is one, have a routine. And two, you're supposed to get enough sleep. What they say, sleep 8 hours a day, but for us it's crucial. It's crucial to just get enough sleep. because you have to like calm your brain, yeah? And also like avoid those things like the ones the doctors instruct, like coffee. Don't take coffee when you're going to sleep, like sugar. There's so many things when you seek professional help, you're instructed to do based on your diagnosis, right? But it's not just the medication alone. You can't just take the medication and expect it to just work. Yes, it stabilizes your mood, yeah? But there are other things, like things that could trigger you. You see, you could be taking medications, but there are other things that trigger you. So yeah, it works, but combined with other things like a routine, like just doing something that you love. Some people exercise, yeah? Some people like to exercise so that they can pump in the extra energy and all that. Just do what you love, have a routine, and take your meds. Before I was diagnosed, I was working in a bank. And before I quit, I had worked in that bank for 7 years. Well, I'd say it was an amazing opportunity to get that job, but the pressure was too much for me. The job was not bad. I wouldn't say like the job, I wouldn't discredit the job. It's the pressure from the work that I couldn't deal with. I was in customer service. I couldn't dealing with people every day. You see, people come with their issues. You're expected like to be okay every day to deal with them. Personal and interpersonal skills, what they say in customer service, and you're supposed to help the customers. And sometimes you're out of your element. There's nothing you can do. There are days you win. In this journey, there are days you win. There are days I would get to the office and I'm so excited, and I would make everyone happy because I'm also excited. There are days I would lose, that even getting to the office was quite a task. It was quite the task, just getting to the office. And I'm scared I'll get fired. I'm scared I need this medical card. To be honest, I stayed at that job a little longer because I needed the medical card. Let me not lie. Because psychiatric help is expensive. So I stayed there a little longer because of that. But it got to this point where I realized how much of a struggle it is. That even the job is even contributing to the illness more than, and it's affecting even my recovery. So there was no point in staying there. And that's when I said enough is enough. Yes, I need the job, but what's the point if I'm going to work and all my leave days, I take them to go to the hospital? What's the point? I was mad because when I decided to quit, my boss tried to talk to me. She asked me if it's leave days that I want, they can give me. But I told them I've been using these leave days just to go to the hospital. When will I rest? I come back, I'm okay for like 1 month, and then I'm back to depression. I'm back to pressure. And being the perfectionist I am, I want everything to be perfect. I want my job to be perfect. But there are days that I lose. It's a journey, like there are ups and downs. There are wins. There are days I lose. There are days that I need help. I need someone to lift me up. How do I call my boss and tell her that, okay, boss, today I can't make it to work? Why? Because my brain is not working. How do I tell my boss like that? But if I had another disease, like maybe let's say like I'm diabetic, I would say like I need to go get insulin, you see. But for mental illness, how do I tell them that I'm not coming to work today because honestly, my brain is broken? Even they wouldn't believe, yeah? So it was really tough on me and I just needed a break. I was tired of just working and going to hospital, working and going to hospital. I was tired.
We will bring you the second part of bipolar disorder, where Ms. Macharia covers the recovery and her present life of living with the illness. See you then.